Today I want to talk to you about the sculling draw, which is the stroke that I just did. It is a stroke that I think is underutilized, especially by intermediate boaters. So if you consider yourself an intermediate boater, you want to start practicing this stroke. One, because it can help you move sideways in really tight spaces like small eddies when you're trying to surf a wave, or just to get up close to your friends, right? Anytime you need to move sideways without turning or moving forwards or backwards. The other thing that's really great about it is it really helps to teach you about paddle dexterity and how to use the leading edge of your blade, right, to move your boat. So let's get into it. So first, the concept I want to introduce is something called feathering, right? So this is feathering, right? You're moving your wrists, you're rolling your wrists forward and back. My blade is coming in at the side of my boat, and as I move my blade towards the front, I cock my wrist back and I open the power face of my blade towards the front of my boat, and I move it forward, and then as I move it back, I turn my wrist so that the power face of the blade is then open to the back. And I do this back and forth. So it's like spreading butter or icing, right? So it's that motion. Some people think of it as a figure of 8 motion. What you do want to do is do a nice refined motion with the wrist, not opening totally to the front or opening totally to the back. That will make it really kind of not so smooth, and it'll start to turn your boat a lot. So here's a breakdown of it, right? I'm gonna rotate my body because torso rotation is in every stroke. I'm gonna drop my paddle in so that the power face is facing the side of my boat. And I'm gonna start with my rotating my core, and as I do that, I'm feathering my blade back and forth. As you're doing this, you go from just behind your hip to just in front of your knees. And notice how my paddle is very vertical and my hands are stacked. And I'm using my core. So people can do this, and yes, it works. But as soon as I engage my core, I move my boat a lot more smoothly. One more thing you might want to think about is the edging or your boat trim. Okay, so as I'm doing this, I don't want to be edging my boat towards my paddle and dragging my boat in the water. I also don't want to necessarily be leaning away from my paddle. So simply keep your boat flat or lift that edge just slightly. Okay? And that is the sculling draw. So just to summarize, right? Make sure you're using your core. So rotate, drop your paddle in. Right? Spread that butter on your toast using your core to move yourself sideways.